Well, hello there. Welcome to another episode of the Bits and Pieces podcast. This time I'm with Courtney as we discuss our trip to Vegas in the middle of the year. Vegas dropped a lot of its prices very low to try to tempt customers back, and being that we live about an hour's plane ride from Las Vegas, we managed to book one of the nicest hotels there and gave it a shot. So I hope you enjoy our telling of our trip to Vegas in pandemic recovery conditions. So that was your first time getting on a plane in how long?
About 10 years.
And you'd only been on a plane once prior to that?
One and only. Didn't like it then either.
So, yeah, what was the worst part since you're afraid of being on the plane?
It's always that tunnel part.
You didn't seem so bothered about it. I mean, we were down that tunnel pretty fast.
Oh, I was.
Not visibly.
I'm good at hiding it.
It wasn't really hiding it. You were clamped onto my arm, but you didn't freeze. You entered the tunnel quickly. You walked to the end quickly. We got on the plane.
Yeah, I think once I got over the feeling like I was like, what's the word I'm looking for? When that door shut, that's when the real shit began.
I told you the tunnel wasn't going to be shit. It's when they fucking locked us in.
And you just
start feeling claustrophobic. Yeah. Oh no, the pressure was in your head. The plane doesn't start to feel, you don't feel that pressure until the plane gets off the ground, because the pressure in the plane's equal to the pressure outside when it's on the ground. You shouldn't feel anything.
Yeah. Well, I'm nuts.
Psychosomatic is the word you're looking for here.
Woo! But no, all in all, plane ride wasn't all that bad.
Yeah. Except for that part when we started to land, because that hurt me too.
That sucked.
I don't know what the fuck happened in the cabin, but I have never had my ears hurt that bad.
Yeah, it took me a minute to adjust. Getting to the cab was very odd because I still felt it walking around when we first got our luggage.
Well, if I can imagine how I felt. It took 2 days for it to clear for me.
Yeah, it did.
My sinuses would not let that pressure go.
Right.
I mean, we were the second night we were there at like midnight, I finally cleared my ears.
Yep. I remember that.
Oh, and it hurt. I remember I looked right at you and said, are my ears bleeding? Because it hurt that bad when they finally popped.
Well, you're in so much pain. I actually looked. I'm like, well, better check.
Good to know they didn't. I thought I blew an eardrum.
That would have sucked.
Yeah, just a lot. Would have made the plane ride back twice as bad. But it was only a 50-minute flight. It was actually faster than they had originally predicted.
Right. I'm just glad I got the gall to look out the window.
Well, it's what I told you. I don't much care for heights either, but at a certain height,
right,
it doesn't matter anymore. The ground's so far away, your brain just kind of doesn't register it anymore. Right. We're above the clouds.
Right. That was actually the coolest part.
Flying through the clouds, yeah, until we hit the turbulence. You didn't seem to care for that much either.
I didn't. I realized planes move.
So what did you think about the cab ride over, though?
Cab ride was nice. I couldn't contain myself. I was so damn excited. Looking out. I was born there, but every time I get to go, it's like, ooh, wow. Buildings!
Glowy buildings.
Yeah. The window's all the way down. Got my head out the window.
What did you think when we pulled around the fountain to our hotel?
I was like, God damn, this is fancy.
I told you. We were in pretty much the most expensive hotel there, at least at the time we went.
For a minute there, I thought we were lost. I'm like, no. No, but I was really impressed. I was just like, oh my god.
What did you think when we entered the lobby?
That was the prettiest lobby I've seen in a long time. It was really bright.
Well, yeah. Who wants to walk into a dim service lobby.
That would be Reno. Have you been to the Sands?
Well, if you check into the Sands, things aren't going your way either. I'm pretty sure the Sands rooms are not $100+ a night.
No. They're not even $50 plus a night.
Now, in fairness, at the time we went, the New York only would have been about $30 a night.
Yeah, but the New York are still nice.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying is the tourism was down so much. Even nice places had their rooms way down.
That's why we got the Bellagio.
Well, that's why I decided to book us. Yeah, I'm like, we could save some money here, or we could have a really, really nice room.
And it was. That room was amazing.
I forgot about those elevators. Our room was on the 27th floor, and I forgot about elevators that skip the first 23 floors,
right up.
Just shoot straight to the top.
And you with your sickness, that was not helpful.
Oh, yeah. God, my ears fucking went off a second time. I was not impressed.
Yep.
I forgot all about that. Every time we went up or down those elevators, I would get disoriented from the speed. Mm-hmm. Sudden elevation change while I had a fucking ear problem.
Yeah.
Oh, so I don't think we were in the room more than an hour when we got there. We kind of got comfy, and I couldn't get Courtney to jump on the bed.
I don't see the point of jumping on the bed. I did a little jump.
It was a little jump. It was your first vacation. You're supposed to do what I say. You're supposed to try things.
I did try things. I ate a snail.
Everything.
Something looked at me.
But you didn't eat the thing that looked at you, so I don't want to hear.
It had legs.
We're in the room an hour, and we got dressed up to go out because we were supposed to go see a Cirque du Soleil show that we had booked.
Uh-huh.
One of 7, actually. We had 7 shows booked. And I'm just going to front load this whole thing now. Don't ever use Vegas.com for anything, because they have, after talking to a couple of concierge people, Vegas.com knew damn well the shows were not playing, and they were selling tickets anyway. Now, granted, I got a refund very quickly because they didn't really have a leg to stand on, mind you. But they still knowingly sold me non-existent seats and tickets.
Yep.
So we get dressed up to go to the show, but on the way, we're in the Bellagio, which is right in the center of the Strip. So we walked all the way down to the south end of the Strip.
Yep.
Into the Mandalay Bay.
Yep.
And right before we got there, there's a mall between the Mandalay Bay and the Luxor, and we stopped in an Irish restaurant called Rira.
That was one of the best restaurants we sat at.
It was the first one we went to. They had a live band in there whose name I have in my phone, and I can't suddenly remember.
For a 2-person band, they were actually quite amazing.
I was actually surprised because I expected them to caterwaul a lot more than they actually ended up doing. Here's the picture of them. An Irish Story, This Is My Home.
That was my first time ever in an Irish pub, so I got a real treat out of that.
Maybe that's not what they were. That might have been the thing they were promoting. I'm not sure that's what they're actually called, because I also noticed it says featuring the Black Connolly. So I'm not sure what their actual band name is. I'll have to look up that Irish Story thing, because I almost guarantee that'll have the name. Well, these guys were playing good. There only had to be, 12 people in that whole bar. It was pretty late at night, you know.
And it's like they knew them, too.
And a lot of... Well, they said they'd only been there one night. They were trying to play 40 different venues in 40 states or something like that, or 50 venues in 50 states.
Yeah, they announced that.
Right, so they were having to move around a lot. So.
I got to try my first ever shepherd's pie.
She took a bite of mine, and that wasn't a good... I shouldn't have had her try it, because not only were there no mashed potatoes left, which is a big part of that, the shepherd's pie they gave me was very, very heavy on whatever alcohol they had cooked it with, and it tasted very strong.
That was the first time I've ever had lamb, too.
Quite possibly. If you ever really try lamb, though, I'm going to actually take you somewhere expensive and have you get real lamb chops.
So I got a burger. I went safe.
It's a bar.
It was actually a pretty good damn burger. I enjoyed it.
And nice music, good food. And that was the point. After we finished eating, we moved on to the Mandalay Bay and found that the theater was suspiciously empty.
For a Michael Jackson theme concert, I was shocked myself. I was expecting to see a bunch of people with one glove or something.
But, no show.
Yeah.
So nobody at all.
So we made our
we
way back.
were the only dummies who showed up.
Nope.
Oh, did you see a few more?
Oh, yes.
Interesting.
Oh, when you left me there to sit at a slot machine, there was a couple of families, actually. Older, no kids. We're looking around.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, like, where do I go?
Yeah.
We weren't the only ones.
I bet they were hearing those complaints a lot, because when I told the concierge in the Mandalay Bay, because I had to walk clean across the casino to find the front desk. Mm-hmm. Boy, she didn't look surprised at all. She just looked irritated.
Well, I can only imagine, because we were probably one of the calmer people to talk about or bring it up. She probably had some real winners come up to her desk.
Well, it's Vegas. I imagine some drunkards had walked up with some real...
Vegas, Karen, no! No, Karen, no!
So we walked back, and we walked back through the Luxor, through the Excalibur, through the New York, and I pointed things out, but...
Of course, I'm like a kid in the candy store. Ooh, what the hell is that? Oh.
But it was so late at night at that point, we basically went back to the room. Mm-hmm. And just said, oh, well, that's unfortunate. We'll have to...
Take two.
So we get up the next day, a Tuesday, and we went into the Forum Shops in Caesar's Palace, a big shopping mall inside Caesar's. Any thoughts on that?
I got these, didn't I?
No. We'll get to that.
Oh.
No, it was the one where we walked in and it looked like there were buildings and the ceiling was painted like the sky and they had all the big statues.
Oh, yeah, that was actually really interesting. It's amazing what they can put in such a very odd space.
That was when we, as we walked around and looked at a lot of the shops, but decided we were hungry. So we sat down in an Italian restaurant called Carmine's initially. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at the menu and I realize, well, this is a family-style Italian restaurant.
And there's two of us.
There's only two of us, and these are meals for 4
Let's
people.
just put this in perspective, though. With me and Blake, there's really one of us.
I can put food away.
Oh, I can. I don't eat for nothing. Like, I smell the food and I'm full.
But I looked at it. I said, man, it's like $40 for a plate of anything. It's going to be a shit ton of food. I don't want to have to take food back up to the room.
Right.
Which we ended up doing later anyway.
Worth it.
So I just decided, what the hell. So we got up and left, and we went. There was another restaurant nearby called the Water Grill. It was a seafood restaurant. And Courtney says she likes seafood.
Do it.
So they had, we looked at a lot of the things on the menu, but ultimately they had like this little surf and turf thing, platter of seafood. We got $100 one.
Yeah, oysters and a bunch
oysters
of
and clams and shrimps and lobster tail and snails, which Courtney is.
Oh God, never again.
So initially things were going well for Courtney. More overly, within 2 bites of 2 different things, I realized I didn't like any of the food. All of it tasted like salt water, and I'm pretty sure seafood is not supposed to taste like salt water. But I tried to try one of everything, and I think after the 6th or 7th thing, because there was, I think, 15 different things.
Around there, because there was a big variety of oysters.
And I tried to do one of everything, and by the 7th one, I went, I can't. I'm going to get sick. Mm-hmm. Everything tasted just horrendous. I think the worst one, the one that caused me to put the food down, is they had a clam that had hot sauce and mango in it, and the clash of flavors caused my stomach to do a little flip, and I went, all right, well, I have this thing when I eat sushi, especially, that generally with sushi, the third bad thing I eat will end the meal no matter at what point I'm at. The third thing, sometimes even the second, but I can't. No matter how hungry I am, my appetite will shut off at that point. And I hit that with this. I'm like, I can't eat anymore. I don't even want to try eating anything.
If you can imagine this big old platter of stuff, I'm trying to plow through it. I'm trying. Then I see this little toothpick looking thing. I'm like, why do we have these little like stabby thingies? I'm like pretending to stab the air with it. And Blake goes, oh, no, it's for these things. And he gives me the snail. I'm like, not on your life. Come on, we're on vacation. Try new things.
You tried one of absolutely everything else there except for the shrimp with the head.
No! It looked at me. It was staring at me through the whole meal. And then you're ripping off its legs and stuff. And I'm like, what the? Okay, I came for food, not carnage.
Lies.
Okay, that might be true. But, like, the whole time, those little beady black eyes were just staring at me. And it's like, I remember the Shark's Tale movie with Will Smith. It's like, eat the shrimp. No, Dad, don't do it.
Is this why you hated going to that Korean the Korean barbecue with your ex? Because he would eat the shrimps with the heads on.
Everything. And then you just hear it go... Blech.
So, at some point, the waiter comes over. I think he noticed I wasn't real happy with the food. And he says, look, how about I get you a bowl of clam chowder on the house? And I said, clam chowder is one of my favorite foods. And I said, yeah, I'll give that a try. They gave us a nice assortment of bread. They gave us a bread with a cheese Asiago on it and just a really nice sourdough, which was also disgusting because it had nothing but salt all the fuck over it.
So if you have low sodium, go there.
Yeah. They didn't give us nearly enough water for that.
No.
They're bringing the bowl of clam chowder over. I take 2 bites of it. It was the most watery soup I've ever had. It wasn't creamy at all. It was like white water with undercooked potatoes and the chewiest fucking clams. That tasted like salt. I took 2 bites and stopped. I tried dipping the bread in. I said, I fucking can't do this anymore.
Well, anytime, I am not a big fan of clam chowder. I'm not. But anytime I've ever seen it, it's thick and creamy and... You were just, it was like, bleh.
Drip.
Yeah, like, what?
Well, like I said, and this is supposed to be a really fancy restaurant. It was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, so necessarily, we left.
We paid the $120 ticket.
Yeah, we weren't those people.
And got up and left. So we decided from the middle of the strip to walk all the way north to the Circus because Courtney wanted to see the Adventure Dome they had there. We've never, we read a lot about it, and one of the brochures we were given by the concierge said it was open. So we walk up there and we find the arcade, the midway of the Las Vegas Circus really readily, and we walk around in there and go, we'll have to come back in here and play some arcade games. It'll be fun. So then we inquire about where the actual Adventure Dome is because we're like, this can't be it, and I'm not seeing any signs. So they tell us, so it's completely in the back. It's its whole own thing. We get back there, closed.
Yeah, so they point us in that direction just so we could find out that it was closed firsthand.
Yeah, well, that's what you get for asking some 16-year-old kid working in a casino, or however old he was. He had pimples. And it's like, great, he couldn't have fucking told us that before we walked across the building.
For some reason, when you said that, the only thing that came to my mind was Dinkelberg.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
I was thinking about the kid from the Simpsons. I'm gonna have to get my manager. That kid. That's more what I got. But well, I see the Dinkelberg when we get there and it's closed. Dinkelberg.
So we got ice cream instead.
Right. So the only thing really open on the mezzanine there was a gelato stand, and it was actually quite busy for being out of the way because there had to be like 15 people. I got the
black cherry raspberry.
Yeah, you get some sort of raspberry chocolate thing.
Oh, it was good. It was so good. Oh, raspberry toffee.
Yeah, there it was, and I ended up with some. I think I just got some mint. Yeah. And I sat down, and this is the point. I was really kind of mad at this point. This was the point I sat down and called Vegas.com. I'm prepared to throw a shit fit at them, which wound up being unnecessary. They just refunded the money, sight unseen. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of nice because our Vegas trip, I had all my credit cards for this trip zeroed out, and then I got a $1,500 refund while we're there. I said, well, now we definitely got some walking around money.
Right.
So we went back to the arcade, and we bunged a 50 in the machine, and we fully beat 3 arcade games, and
Yes.
boy, arcade games are starting to get extortionate.
Yeah, they are.
Like, I noticed the newer games are worse than the old one. I mean, House of the Dead, we played House of the Dead 3 first. That's an older game, and yeah, we put some decent I think we put like $12 in that.
Mm-hmm. That was fun. I haven't played something like that in forever.
But then we went and got in the Walking Dead machine, and we had to fucking use so many credits due to cheap deaths on that one.
Yeah, that I did not actually like that at all. The crossbow idea is a cute idea.
I was kind of having fun.
The
game was way too short.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that was it?
Everyone got 8. End of story.
Yeah, basically. I was like, boo.
All that rigmarole to save everybody just to get 8.
Also, what pissed me off is I literally just put a credit in, not realizing the game was going to end that abruptly, and so the credit just went bye-bye.
Yep.
And the game just ended. I was like, oh, fuck you, game.
The Jurassic Park game was a little bit better.
The Jurassic Park game, yeah, we only, we lost a handful of credits on that one. We were low because of the Walking Dead game. And we barely beat it. We beat the entire game, all three major stages of it. And we beat it Courtney was out, and we had 1 credit. And I was playing the credit, I had 1 health left, and I killed the last dinosaur. And that was it.
Just for heads up, if you ever need me to beat a game under stressful situations, don't leave it up to me.
You were doing okay, but I was down to 1 health on our last credit, and I managed to drop the boss. I couldn't believe it. I was going to be so fucking mad if it killed me. I was waiting for it. I'm like, he's going to fucking get me. We're at the ass end of the game, and I'm going to get got, and I'm going to be fucking pissed.
Yep.
But no, we beat all 3 games clean at exactly the moment we ran out of credit, so I was actually pretty pleased with that, because it's like, we're good. We've been here a while. We're good now.
All right.
So we walked back south right as it was getting dark. It was a nice walk.
It was. It was very nice weather.
We crossed the street and went through the mall in the Venetian. You got to see the gondolas.
Yep, I got to see the gondolas.
And we went into... that was the first time I think we really went into any of the shops, because you had not bought anything till we went in the Venetian. Mm-hmm. And while we were crossing, there was one place right at the fork of where the gondolas were that was kind of on its own thing in the middle of the water, and it was a sock shop.
Socks! At every kind of sock I wanted!
I think Las Vegas is the only place I've ever been that had stores that were specifically dedicated to just socks.
I got a new pair of Scooby-Doo socks and Mountain Dew.
So we did that. We walked the rest of the way through, and I think I made a mistake, and we had to double back through and come out a different entrance.
Is that the time we got those chocolates, too?
Was that time?
Uh-huh.
Right, we went in the, it was a Ghirardelli chocolate
yes.
shop,
Oh
right?
my god, that was so good.
And we bought, I think, 6 individual little
just so we can try
chocolates, and we sat down and tried each one, different kinds of truffles, lemon truffles, raspberry truffles that they just made.
There wasn't one I didn't not like.
Right. There was different degrees of I like it, but they were all generally in the positive.
The raspberry one was by far my favorite. The lemon one was right next to it.
Now, this was probably the worst day we had, because my planning had gotten really badly screwed up, because every restaurant we attempted to go to at this point, we ended up walking all the way back to the south end from the north end. We made it all the way to the MGM on that side of the street. And every restaurant we tried to stop at was fucking closed. And I got really angry about this time.
Yep.
Because we had just done a shit ton of walking, and every restaurant I tried to take us into was fucking closed. And I finally lost my fucking temper.
Yep.
So I took us back across the street again. We went into the New York because I knew Tom's Urban would still be open because they're a 24-hour restaurant. And I remembered that from the last time I had been in Las Vegas. And we sat down in there and ate. And I sat there and fumed the entire fucking meal. Which did not get helped along by Courtney ordered chicken and cornbread pancakes as her meal, and they brought her chicken that was smothered in buffalo sauce, and Courtney is allergic to anything like that.
No, mind you, recent events, we've found out that there's a certain amount of
There's a certain combination of allergy medicine she can take in order to be able to eat.
period. And so I, told her, very firmly that I need these plain, and that's it. Luckily I didn't get sick, but boy, for someone who's never, ever, ever, ever had any kind of hot sauce, went from taking a big bite of buffalo sauce, I wanted to die.
Unfortunately, she did not have an allergic reaction, but she did sit there with her mouth absolutely on fire for 15 minutes.
Where almost tears happened. But what made me, I felt kind of bad because the waiter come over and he was beside himself. He was clearly upset that happened.
Well, he did. He even showed us the tab, and he had very clearly written down not to have hot sauce on it, and someone in the kitchen decided they weren't in the mood to read tickets.
Yeah.
So they tried to bring you back a new one, but by then you were just kind of done, I think.
Yeah.
This
I
is
still
also
ate the pancake, though.
this was also incidentally when I managed to pop my ear, as I mentioned earlier. It was while we were sitting here at something like 11:45 at night or later. So that happened.
I did have a drink with it, though. It was called the lemon drop.
You had a lemon drop with it, and you seemed to think that was alright.
That's what kind of saved the night for me. It was very delicious. It wasn't too heavy on the alcohol.
Was this the night we sat down at the bar where you played a couple of games?
Yes.
Was that this night? I thought it was the night before. I might have forgotten that because we walked all the way to the south end and couldn't get anything done.
Right, but no, that was after because I wanted to have a quick smoke before we head up to the room.
Well, no, we did that because you wanted to drink. The bartender made you increase your bet in order to comp the drink, and as soon as he had you do that, you hit a bonus and walked away with like $50.
I ordered a Mai Tai from him, and holy,
man,
I just needed one. Usually a Mai Tai, it's more on the sweeter side than the heavy side. And I've been spoiled because I know a lot of bartenders, so they make it the way I love it. And not this guy, if you need a bartender who's gonna give you a quick fix, that's the guy.
I gave you a heavy drink. I think we sat there and talked for over an hour.
We did, because once Courtney feels tipsy, it's smoky time and talkie time.
So we left Tom's Urban and we caught one or two of the Bellagio fountain shows for the first time.
I think we saw about 3.
That first time?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because I think we were coming up the elevator.
Oh.
And that's when they were playing Luck Be a Lady Tonight, and I stopped you to watch the show.
Right, and we got the balcony.
And then we caught it from the side, and I said, I think they're going to do another one in 15 minutes. Do you want to go down to the front? We did. And I think they played Bad Romance by Lady Gaga, which we actually caught, I think, 2 or 3 times throughout the trip.
And also the Bee Gees, what is that, Lucy and Sky Diamonds?
No, it was the Beatles, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, that's right.
I bet everybody's probably screaming in the... who's ever listening to us, really? Bee Gees? My bad, I'm uneducated.
So we ended our night with the fountain shows and went back inside and...
We got to enjoy that night. We got to enjoy the tub.
We had a very, very large bathroom in this place. I mean, it was huge.
It was very nice.
It had a big old tub by itself and then a big old standing shower by itself. So I think I put on a comedy special by Jim Norton while Courtney soaked in the tub.
I needed it. I hurt.
And we did a ton of walking.
And I have a desk job, so walking is like, my dogs were barking.
So the next day, Wednesday, we went back to Carmine's because we agreed, we should have just done this in the first place.
I was attacked by spaghetti.
Oh, and of course, we ordered something simple. We just basically, I think, got spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah, because after the night before, we kind of we wanted a real meal in us, because getting a meal in us that previous day was just not happening.
So we ordered something simple. The guy, we had a really friendly waiter.
No, he was on top of it.
I didn't like his suggestion about putting cheese over the whole thing. Maybe I could have done without.
Yeah, that was a
ultimately.
lot of cheese.
It was still good, don't get me
Yes.
wrong, but it was a little too much. But the food was really good. We ate a lot of it. But Courtney's getting a big laugh because I attempted. It's one of those places where they bring you a big plate and then you got to serve it onto littler plates.
Like a big spoon and a big fork, and you guys got yeah.
And I'm not thinking because I'm tired still. And so I just fucking T-Rex chomp it with the silverware. And as I get it over the plate, the whole thing falls and just splatters both of us. Mostly Courtney, oddly.
I jumped to the right of me and was like, it burns! Death by spaghetti! And that's when the waiter comes back. Like, can I show you something?
Let me show you how to do this.
Because I'm dying. I'm laughing so damn hard I can't breathe. I've been attacked by a lot of things, but first time for spaghetti. It was just because the marinara sauce was really warm.
So we ended up taking the food from there, and we probably shouldn't have because we brought it back to the room and then didn't fucking touch it. We never even touched it. There was no reason to. We had so many other places to eat.
Yeah, and I wasn't gonna. I'm sorry, leftovers was not on my go-to.
I think also at once we came back to the room. I think we shopped around a little more.
We did.
But we didn't end up buying anything.
Not
in
really.
that particular
There was a
time.
lot of things there that I would have liked, but I'm not willing to pay Vegas prices.
Yeah, I remember we were looking at cowboy boots and stuff like that, and
Now I get what they're made from. I get it, but at the same time, it's kind of like, no.
Your look when was it the alligator or the stingray boots or something like that?
It was the alligator boots.
You're like,
I'm no. So we walked out of there. I mean, I saw a lot of things. I think I spent more at that gift shop than I did any other of the retail stores.
Courtney also had to deal with her fear of heights because at the entrance of the mall from the street is like a 3 or 4 story set of stores, and the escalators there are they wrap, they twist, and they have glass sides so you can see down all 4 stories. And Courtney had a little bit of trouble with that.
I couldn't get. It was very hard to get close to the even near the rail, just to peek over.
I got you to do it though.
We got there. We got there. Man, that was a journey.
We went and saw the Avengers Station, which I would give a C- overall.
For cuteness, if you want to impress your kids, okay. If you're fully a grown adult and you live in the real world, it's cute for like a first date.
I don't even know if I'd go that far.
If you really don't expect much out of this date.
It was still very expensive for what it was. Though,
it was.
The only thing that kept it from being really, really extortionate is we had when they asked for my ID, they went, "Oh, you're from Nevada, so here's a rather sizable discount," and they gave us those patches or what have you, which I don't remember where those went.
Yeah, but I got to take photos with my favorite superheroes.
Yep, so. I got a couple of pictures of you
with
Iron Man I got you with the Hulkbuster Iron Man suit.
Yep. That was impressive.
Then we went into Madame Tussauds Wax Museum.
Yes, where I got to take a picture with Johnny Depp and Hugh Hefner and Snoop Dogg, Tupac,
and the Hulk.
Yep.
I think those were the only pictures I could get you to stand still for the most part, or at least the only ones you were really even remotely.
No, spoiler, getting me to stand still for anything is hard.
We had kind of an odd day that time. I think we did, a lot of just walking around.
We did. There was a lot of sightseeing because, what more, everything that he took me to was, building.
I got in trouble going back into our hotel because I had my mask off because we got Ben and Jerry's. We got Ben and Jerry's and we walked back into the casino. I was eating it. Unfortunately, the security guard told me in a very subtle fashion to get it back on. But
no, that was actually pretty good. I love Ben and Jerry's and getting it in a cone form, a waffle cone form. So amazing.
They gave us quite a lot, too.
Yeah, that was, because then we go back up to the room, and I'm just like, oh, God, what have I done?
Well, we sat down at the machines to try to
Oh,
eat. And they kicked us
yeah.
off the machines because there were signs everywhere that said "Do not eat at the machine." So they asked us to leave.
Right.
So we went back up to the room, which pissed me off because I had exactly one fucking bite left.
Yeah.
I had just the very bottom of my cone with a little bit of ice cream left in it, and that was it. I was pretty much done otherwise. And it's like, oh, you guys couldn't fucking leave me alone for 2 more seconds. Oh, well. And then we went back up to the room, and it was so late. Like I said, I can't remember what we did all day. Is that the day we... No, it couldn't have been. That had to be the next day. Yeah, so that was a very strange day because we just kind of fucking horsed around all day. I can't remember what we did.
Well, it wasn't really a whole lot, honestly. We didn't really do anything that required a whole lot of our attention, I want to say. It was a lot of sightseeing.
Yeah, even then.
And then we went back up to the room after that, and I died.
You died for a little while, but around midnight I floated that we've got to eat.
Yes.
And the only place we really could get food is there was a 24-hour teeny little restaurant downstairs in the Bellagio called Snacks.
Oh, boy.
And we called down and ordered, which was fine. Now, Courtney wanted to get a cigarette, so she volunteered to go down while I got comfortable. And before the rest of the story is told, I would like to note that this will be the first time in the entire trip, 3rd day in, that Courtney was away from me for any length of time.
So just for to put this in more funny ways, I was left without an adult, and I have a temper. But yeah. I go get food. I have my cigarettes. So I'm waiting in line, and it was taking kind of long for me to get the food because this gentleman was having just a meltdown, and he was speaking at the time it was Japanese. I know.
Wasn't it Chinese?
Chinese, thank you. I know very, 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 very little, but I have picked up some stuff throughout my time working at casinos. You just pick some stuff up, especially cuss words. Well, after the 3rd cuss bomb was dropped, and he's just yelling at this chick behind the counter just because he could. I can't remember what exactly he was upset about, but it was like she forgot ketchup. And after he snatched it from her, and he just kept yelling at her. I'm like, all right, enough. So I stepped in, and it just didn't get any calmer after that because I got immediately aggressive, like in his face aggressive. To where here comes security in all their glory. And the guy was trying to basically talk 10 codes. Well, I've worked in security for a very long time, so I know them. And he basically called in the 10 code that I possibly am intoxicated. I'm like, I am not. And the look on this kid's face, I call him a kid, but he's probably older than me and twice as large. And I'm like, I am not. And he's just staring at me, and he's trying to do phonetics on my ID, and I'm like, really? Charles, Ocean, Union, come on. But no. And then when they realized, thank God Blake put me on the room at the beginning of the trip. Because it would have been bad. But the lady behind the counter thanked me, and thank God she stood up for me at the end, because he thought that I was causing the disturbance. And to be told from the outside looking in, it probably did look like I had caused the problem. Because the poor guy that was cussing at the employee, he was... I don't want to toot my own horn, but I mentally destroyed that ass.
Went scampering off, did he?
Oh, he couldn't get away from me fast enough.
Yeah, I bet.
Because I got in his face.
But the girl behind the counter told security to...
Yeah, and then they chilled out after I after she told me or told them about standing in for her. But of course, you always gotta wait for that, confirmation from their, I don't know what they call their surveillance peeps, but they go, oh, yeah, yeah, no, it wasn't her. So they try to go after him, and I don't know what happened after that.
Now, wasn't your problem? You grabbed the food and came back up. And of course, now here's where I got to hear the story and go, really? I fucking was away from you for like 20 minutes tops, and security rolls up on you. Really? Can't take you anywhere.
No. Again, I was left unsupervised.
Oh goodness! So I put on more comedy specials by Jim Norton.
Yes.
And we sat there and we had burgers and fries essentially.
Yeah.
And they were good. I remember
What was that? And then I got the chocolate mousse.
Yeah. What did I get?
You got cookies.
Oh yeah, it was just one big fucking cookie.
It was a pretty decent sized cookie.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and the mousse.
And you got that chocolate mousse, which you gave me a bite of. It was all right.
It had dark chocolate on it. I think that's why I didn't particularly like it. The mousse part was great. The top part was
big fucking hammers, and then you pretty much passed out.
I died.
Yeah.
Again, walking.
You just right into the ground.
I think that's like the first time, like in 3 nights in a row, I went to bed without any problems going to bed.
So we get up Thursday, our last full day in Las Vegas.
And that's where all the fun really happened.
First, I forgot to write this down, but I think that was the day we went into the Miracle Mile, which was right across the street first, the Miracle Mile shopping mall.
Yep.
And there were so many things. I think that was. They had the Ben and Jerry's in there, which we stopped at briefly.
Right. I think we were checking the time to see what time they closed.
Yeah. They also had Toll House cookie. There was 2 Toll House cookie stations in there.
We didn't make it.
Yeah, we didn't make it back in time for that.
Totally. I forgot about it until I came until it got brought up just now. Actually, oops.
We did end up stopping in one store. There was a couple of art galleries in there. I think we stopped in and looked
Very
at.
interesting art.
But with that aside, that's kind of hard to describe on here. I allowed Courtney to feed one of her more prominent addictions. There was a Bath and Body Works in there, and I let her go inside and let her shop around.
Damn it!
I recall you bought a few things.
I did. Damn it.
I don't think we stopped in any other. I pointed as we were leaving, right at the door to leave. They had one of those bars that has the robot arms that mixes
that was
the
pretty
drinks,
cool.
And they weren't doing anything because there wasn't really any. It wasn't drinking time yet. I think it was like 11.
Right. Next time if we go to Vegas, I definitely I just want to watch it work.
Well, I offered if you wanted to have it do something, you could have, but you're like, it is way too goddamn early for that right now.
Yeah, if we still got a lot of walking, and I need to do it straight.
Now, earlier in this day, or no, this was the night before, we, see, I'm remembering little details about the other days as we go. While we were walking the day before to go north on the Strip again, because the Avengers thing was in the Treasure Island casino. We walked by the tent that houses the show Absinthe, and I noticed the box office was open, and so we stood nearby. The box office is between the entrance to the Caesar's Palace and the Hell's Kitchen building, and I stopped long enough to overhear some conversation between a woman who didn't speak a lot of English, which actually ended up helping me because the person at the box office had to repeat a lot of information, which allowed me to pick up on a lot of it a lot firmer.
I have to admit, though, she was being very patient with that lady. That was amazing.
It has to suck being locked in that little box all day, though.
Right.
But what I had essentially gathered is the Absinthe show opened that day back up, and there was going to be a few showings over the one that night and 2 the next night. So I downloaded an app offline and went onto their website, their personal website for the show, and I managed to book us. Tickets were very hard to come by because in order to do the social distancing thing there, they had tables that had chairs at them. And in order to get a lot of these tables, you had to buy out all 4 of the chairs at like $250 a piece or something like that. It was a lot. And I managed to find one late showing with a table with only almost right in the front with 2 chairs at it.
Really good seats.
Yep, it's for $500 total, and I booked us. Last second, I managed to book us those seats. And I was getting so angry. Courtney probably remembers this. I'm sitting at one of the slot machines, fucking probably losing my shit because the fucking app was working so poorly. I couldn't select anything, and I'm getting angrier and angrier and angrier. And finally, it worked, and it went through, and I got us the ticket.
I just started spinning in my chair. Whee! Hey!
So we leave on the last day, back to the last day, we leave the Miracle Mile shopping center, and unfortunately Courtney's starting to feel a little because she had taken the cocktail of medicine to be able to eat things she can't typically eat.
Right.
So we're trying to get somewhere, but I want to go somewhere real specific for lunch. Mm-hmm. So we walked down to the Mandalay Bay again, so we went all the way to the south end.
Yep.
And we went into the House of Blues.
Yes. Love that place.
And very, very wonderful restaurant, in my opinion. I made it a point I wanted to eat in there before we left. Mm-hmm. I remember earlier that day we tried to goddamn eat in another place I wanted to. We went into Bally's to try to fucking eat at Buco de Beppo.
Oh,
and the fucking place closed for
Just
lunch. It was open for breakfast, closed for lunch, open for dinner. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Oh, god damn it. So we went into the House of Blues. I was just as good with that because that was one of the 2 places I really wanted to eat. We sat down, good. And I believe you got...
Well, I got a pulled pork.
Yeah, you had a pulled pork sandwich.
Yep. Which was amazing with the coleslaw.
And they brought you every type of sauce on the side to try.
I was taking no chances.
I don't recall there was any of them that you had a problem
with. No,
with.
But there was that one.
There was one you didn't much care for, but I don't remember that any of them were specifically a problem. So you found your favorite, which I think was Carolina Sweet or something like that.
Now, to put this in perspective, and the people out there who have to watch what they eat 24/7 will appreciate this comment. Having the ability to eat whatever you want, whenever you want, and it's taken away from you, you essentially have you're being ascended to heaven moment. When I got to finally eat something and it was so delicious and I wasn't getting sick and I didn't have to worry about getting sick, I wanted to cry at the table. It was so good.
Because due to Courtney has an allergy to anything with pepper even. So that limits what she's able to eat rather sharply until we found this combination of medicine she could take that would allow her to eat anything.
And but to put this in perspective, I'm 30.
And so you got to go outside your comfort zone, and it was something. Barbecue sauce would normally be really deadly to you.
Yep.
And you were able to sit down and eat this pulled pork with all the barbecue and all
even eating pulled pork is non-existent if it's got to be the blandest of bland.
Right, and that's hard to do even.
Mm-hmm.
So you were able. I remember you ate so fast you accidentally made yourself a little sick.
I did because it was just amazing. I got to eat coleslaw. I got to eat the entire thing. It was a very, very good meal. Then I bought the cornbread mix at the gift shop.
You bought a lot of stuff at that gift shop.
I think I bought more at that gift shop than I did anywhere else.
Yeah. You bought a couple of shirts,
right.
The cornbread mix. Oh, you bought a lot.
Yeah. I was that impressed.
Yeah, you spent about $100 in there.
I did.
And because you were so happy. And yeah, they had cornbread there, and you really liked that cornbread they had. I had a bowl of jambalaya, which was, phew, it burned.
I smelt it, and I was like, ooh.
Oh, boy. Don't get me wrong, it was delicious.
That was a lot of rice.
Yeah, but I ended up not even being able to finish it. It was so damn much. It was because of all that shrimp and the andouille sausage, and it was very, very protein heavy. And then along with the rice, I got about 3/4 of the way through it, and I can eat.
Right.
And I got 3/4 of the way, and I said between the burning and the other thing that probably wasn't helping, and I had to have made the waiter wonder about this. I put away 7 drinks while we were sitting there. If you recall, I put down like 7 Sprites or something while we were sitting there. And I don't know. I just could not. Nothing it was satisfying the thirst. Not plus the burning, and because I was sitting there going, man, I'm gonna get sick from all this soda, and no, I just kept drinking and drinking and drinking, and
no,
I just kept putting it down. Man.
But no, I if. Like I said, if we ever go back to Vegas, that's definitely like one of either the first or second night that we're there. It's like we're going there. This was my very first vacation ever, so I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to react to a lot of things. So there was a lot of stuff me going, hey, pretty. A lot of those type of moments because I had no real appreciation for it because I had never been on one.
Well, it just makes me so sad though because our first real vacation was supposed to be Disneyland, and if you were acting like that in Vegas, Disneyland's going to be a whole nother animal for you.
Like, it definitely is getting me used to being around people.
You would have been so impressed with everything. Like, you would have been there would have been a lot of people, and this would have bothered you for maybe the first 2 hours. But I guarantee the first ride, because you've never experienced a theme park ride. Disneyland is any theme park really, any of the major theme parks. Those rides are just it's something else. And I think once you had gotten your taste of your first 1 or 2 of the rides at Disneyland, I feel like you would have been just so, I want to get on something else, that the fact you would have had to stand in a line with a bunch of people wouldn't have mattered, because you know something fun's now now you have an appreciation that there's going to be something fun when we get to the front of this line. And I think that would have completely, not to mention there's so many things to eat and see and do. I think that alone would have mitigated the...
Well, that's what happened in
dealing
Vegas.
With the crowd. Right. There was a lot of fucking people, but there's so much going on that,
right.
It just made all of that not much of a thing.
Right.
Granted, we had a few... God, that was something I forgot about. The homeless in Vegas between the casinos.
Man, they're interesting.
Boy, if we...
Don't go anywhere outside alone. Like, I'm not being dumb about this. Men, women, children, don't go alone. You're asking for trouble.
We had a few. We had at least 2 incidences where I wouldn't have been surprised if it had resulted in us having to fight someone.
We even walked by a domestic dispute over a baby. We actually had to sit there like,
is he gonna hit her?
She kept trying to get away from him, and so we took a few steps off to the side, but we were waiting. However it was gonna go, it was gonna involve us, but they managed to split themselves up.
Yeah, he yelled in her face quite a bit, but he never laid his hands on her, and then he walked away angry.
Right.
And because that was what caused me to stop. She kept trying to get around him, but he would get right in her face, and so he cornered her, and I'm like, okay. Now I want to see what's going to happen, because if he grabs her and she can't get away,
it's on. Yeah, it will definitely be a fight.
But no, he never touched her at all. And
so we got to watch a guy literally smack a dude and a girl at the same time.
Yeah, he belted her, and we walked right between them and just kept walking.
And it's just amazing. I'm assuming alcohol, because it was right outside of a bar. But yeah, this Hispanic male just reached up and bam, and then smacked a girl, smacked a dude. Someone got hit in the nuts. I'm just sitting there, and I'm in a dress, so I'm like, no.
The one where I got concerned was when the guy that we walked by, those guys, and they said, hey, it's like $3 to walk through here, and I didn't even look at him. I just waved him off. Yeah. And just kept walking, and I'm like, all right, brace, just in case this guy wasn't fooling, and nothing happened.
Yeah, I like the dude who was rapping about needing to pay his child support. We walked by him 3 times, and he got me the freaking laugh each time. It was great.
It was an interesting rap. You know, if you put a buck in his cup, he'll shut the fuck up. And yeah, that got her to giggle a couple of times. He had a lot of lines for that.
It was great. I'm like, oh, at least he's singing for it.
Fuck, they need to light some of those walkways between the casinos.
They do. You know, there was a lot. I'm gonna admit to this. I'm not a big fan of homeless people. They scare me. I have a lot of bad memories with these people. And so I know what they're capable of if they're having a bad night. And it will equal you having a bad night. So, and it's just amazing how many...
I wasn't so much worried about the performers up on the bridges, because you notice how they always were in very particular spots.
Right. It's the ones on the sidewalks.
Yeah, the ones down below, because I'm almost certain these guys were... allowed to be up there, had a permit
they don't
or whatever.
Cause a problem.
Right? And, right, so they're all right. They're just doing their thing. They're trying to hustle and get their money. And, but yeah, like another, I think on this day at some point, on the fourth day, we had to, instead of using the stairs, we ended up having to take an elevator, because there was a homeless guy camped out right in the middle of the fucking stairs, coughing his fucking head off.
God, I was like, no, I don't want Rona.
I think I remember you and I just kind of looked at each other and went, "Oh, no. We're gonna go around and find the elevator onto this platform, because neither of us."
And it's funny, we weren't the only ones who thought that.
Right,
too.
there was a woman in a very nice dress behind us that got on the elevator with us, because it was like, oh man,
negative.
So while we were at the Mandalay Bay, we went. There's a shark reef, if you will.
Oh, this thing was amazing.
So we went and did that. That was a little bit of a pain in the ass, because for some reason, they didn't point out the box office, so I had to stand there.
Notice the trend.
So I actually stood there and booked the tickets online, standing in front of this thing, which took a while. And they were only letting people in intervals, which, all right, that's fine, because with restrictions, I don't think you'd want a lot of people piling in anyway.
Exactly.
So I think there was only...
Well, I think it made the experience better, because I didn't feel crowded, I didn't feel rushed.
Well, right, we were only in there with maybe 6 to 8 people, you know, and everyone was stopping and looking at whatever they fucking wanted to look at.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of...
I got to see a lot of cool things. I found out that my favorite thing out of the sea is jellyfish.
Yeah, there was a jellyfish tank, and you stood there just mesmerized for a minute, which kind of makes me want to take you to the San Diego Zoo or one of the aquariums over there sometime. Because I think it's the Monterey Aquarium is just something else.
I got scared by a shark.
Right when we got to the shark part, right as she walked up to the glass, a sand shark swam right past the glass and right over the glass, and you turn around just in time to see this big flat shark. Yeah.
I jumped behind him. I'm like, wow, no, negative. And of course, you know, Blake and him being so caring and thoughtful, hey, glass, can't get you.
What do you think's going to happen?
They're gonna eat me.
If the glass in here breaks, we're gonna drown a lot faster, and we're gonna have to worry about those sharks.
So after I changed my pants and moved forward, it was actually really impressive. They take really good care of their animals.
It was a big tank.
That sea turtle was impressive.
I was just so sad he wouldn't come down, though. If it hadn't have been for the employee
who pointed him out, we never would have.
Yeah, we never would have saw him, and he was massive.
He was a big boy.
But it was kind of just, like I said, he didn't move. That's got to be nerve-wracking for that turtle. I'm one giant turtle, and there has to be like 15 sharks in this tank.
It's kind of messed up.
Well, maybe, but I can't. I don't think a big. I can't see a turtle being on a shark's typical.
No.
Get you thing.
The sea lion, or the not sea lions, the lionfish.
Oh yeah, we saw some lionfish, and you thought those were interesting. They were having trouble with the lionfish. There was a plaque on the. They're an invasive species now.
Yeah, and they're causing some grief
because they eat everything.
This is also the same place we got to see the Komodo dragon.
Yeah, there was a Komodo dragon. I was so pissed. I got a picture of him. He was looking at us, and of course, right about the time I got the camera, he faced back away from us. I was like, "Oh goddamn!"
So I just pointed at his butt, and went, "Look, what a dragon!"
Big ass
And then
lizard.
we got to see the vegetarian
piranha. There was some actual piranha. You were so disappointed. There was a piranha.
Man, that lady couldn't even fake it to make it.
Well, that is movies. You're like, oh my god, it must be so interesting when they eat. And she went, no.
I mean, this lady, I could just tell that she had regretted every life choice she's ever made.
Well, think about where she was standing. For some reason, the piranha tank had an open top.
Very weird.
And she's standing there, probably keeping people from sticking their fucking fingers in there.
Remember, stupid rules were made for stupid people. Stupid jobs were made for even stupider people.
Well, it almost makes me wonder if there weren't repairs or something going on, because that whole scene looked wrong.
It did.
So, yeah, because they had her, taped in, like, this 1x1 square.
Like if she couldn't even move, just even stretch out a foot.
Oh, my God.
It was great. But I was a little disappointed. I'm sitting going, yeah. Well, all right then. Go suck on a lollipop.
And then Courtney, they made us do a green screen thing right at the beginning of this. And Courtney got an additional laugh because, as you can hear.
I'm sorry. That lady was awesome.
Well, these ladies' jobs are to sell these photos to you. And the problem is I was wearing a green shirt. So when they tried to add in all the background, what's funny is they mentioned that when they saw me walk in the first time, they knew this wasn't going to work well. So there they're putting up the photos, and all the backgrounds, you can see them right through me because I'm wearing green. And this lady is trying her damnedest to still try to make a convincing argument to sell us these photos. And Courtney is dying in front of these people. And in fairness, her assistant back there is she's dying too, because she knew this is exactly what was going to happen.
Fake it till you make it. That lady was good.
Oh, the reef look, that's the 2020 look. Courtney died harder.
Yes.
Courtney also, every time we had to do one of these green screen things, which was twice, she absolutely refused to do any of what they wanted them to.
No,
like
okay,
the scary
no.
face look, because here's
No.
a shark, and Courtney just wouldn't do it.
Okay, for the record, I'm not gonna have photo proof of me being an idiot.
Oh, but you can totally have video proof of you at work.
I cannot confirm nor deny
You
that
basically
shenanigans.
just confirmed it.
Shenanigans happen.
So on our walk back, I kind of wanted to stop in a few of the museums, but Courtney truthfully told me she hadn't an ounce of interest in these museums. They had a Titanic exhibit and a bodies exhibit.
We know very well why the body one I didn't want to see. I couldn't see.
There was a lot more in there, though. You might have been able to. We have our
and
little
the
camera
Titanic thing, I have my reasons why I was not fond of going in there.
which you didn't explain to me. And you didn't say there were reasons. You just said disinterest. So now there's something for me to know once we're done with this. Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I get myself into trouble so often.
Yeah, you ratted yourself out again.
Let's see. And then we got to go on the roller coaster after that?
Yes, we went into the New York, and we went up to the New York roller coaster, which Courtney was very excited to go
I
on.
couldn't. I probably tinkled a little bit walking
Actually,
up.
just prior to before we got there, after we left the Shark Reef, we walked back through the Mandalay Bay's mall, and that's where you bought those hats. We went into that hat store.
Yes, the flat hats, and I'm wearing one right now. Actually, I love it.
Well, it was just funny to me because that was the last time I was in Vegas and we walked through. The person I was with, that was the only shop they went into, and then you went in there and found two hats you wanted.
Yeah,
and you were like, "Well, which one? Which one?" And I said, "Both. This is a vacation. Spend money. Shit."
I'm definitely gonna probably order through their website to purchase more of these flat hats. They're very, very nice. I'm trying to read the name on the, and I don't know if I'm gonna say it right, but it's Bally. Bali? B-A-I-L-E-Y.
That's Bally.
So Bally's
Or Bailey.
high-quality craftsmanship store of Hollywood. Established in Hollywood, California. If you didn't know where Hollywood was. But yeah, both the hats were, $60 each?
Something like that.
Yeah, very nice. I wear them every day.
We got on the New York roller coaster, and Courtney was taking her. It was funny. We get up to the front, you're bouncing up and down.
We got the front seat.
We got the very front seats.
Oh.
I do not do roller coasters.
I wish I could have felt bad for him, but my adrenaline was so high.
Well, she had no idea because I was covering that up, that I did not want to get on this roller coaster.
I had so much fun.
Well, what's funny is you were taking your glasses off, and I told you not to worry about that. There was no way you were going to lose them, and then I damn near lost mine.
You know, I only caught a glimpse of that, but we were going so fast, I thought I was just imagining.
There was a hard twist and then an upside-down loop, and I don't know if my glasses were going to fall off, but they felt like it, so I grabbed for them, and I knocked them off my own face.
Oh.
And I managed to reach up and snatch them right before they fell.
Damn.
But I then had to hold them in my hand, which wasn't... I lost a hand to hold on to them, which wasn't great because I was white-knuckled on the fucking... on the safety bar.
So, yeah, the photo that was taken of me while during the ride was just pure amusement.
And I wasn't happy at all. I got off of that... Because, again, I'm still having an inner ear problem, and I got off of that roller coaster motion sick because of that.
I could have gone again.
You could have. They offered.
No. Well, I didn't want to risk getting sick.
I didn't think you would have. You were having so much fun. I could hear you giggling the whole ride, but I was so clamped up because I can't.
I have it's funny. I
rough
can't do
fucking
plane
ride.
rides, but roller coasters, bring them on.
Yeah, I was not. I wasn't handling that one too well. Mostly because, again, I was having problems with my nose and my ears while we were there, and that made it so much worse.
Yeah, I know.
So we made it back up to the room in time to change.
Yep.
We got we got fancied up again.
Yep. The heels and everything. So it happened.
Because I actually, before that, I was slightly dressed up ahead of time, but I had told you to dress comfortably for the first half of the day. There was no reason to.
Right.
And so we got into the Absinthe show. We
Yep.
managed to get in there with no real issues.
It was really smooth.
Well, it's supposed to be. I was concerned because of all the other trouble we'd had, but no. They took our temperature.
Yep.
And asked us, in order to stay away from people, to pick there were spots all over the place. Color coded, and they asked us to pick one just to kind of keep away from everyone, and then they called by group, and we got our table, which turned out to be really, really close to the front of the stage.
It was amazing.
We were a second row back.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure Courtney is very happy we were not in the first row.
Wait a minute. I don't know. You were the one who would have to have twerked.
Yeah, they went for they had a couple of the men in the front row do lap dances for their women, and yes, I do maintain that had I been called on, I wouldn't have look, had I bitched out, the fucking ringmaster would have stood there, I guarantee you, for 10 minutes just taking the piss out of me. And I wasn't about to eat that humiliation of being that guy. If I'm gonna do it, if I'm gonna hurt, I'm gonna do it to myself.
But that didn't happen. It was actually a very funny show.
It didn't happen, and boy, the look on your face when they have the first act was the Green Fairy when she ripped her top off.
Whew! I'm really glad that I experienced both worlds because I enjoyed myself.
Or when she made the guy's reaching up the back of her dress, she says she's got to use the front entrance. She goes spread eagle.
Yes.
And then there was the billionaire and his assistant who was very chatty.
At first the assistant did annoy me, but I think that was part of
That's intentional.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It almost. I was sitting there going like, God, shut up.
But that is the character she's playing.
Yeah. So
But as time went on, I think you started to get it when they let her do more jokes.
Yeah. The billionaire, quote unquote.
Mr. Billionaire.
Hello. You don't care about the road. Nah, we're all out here just getting fucking drunk. Sluts in the back. There is this group of women in the back.
And he just keeps calling out the sluts in the back. Oh, sluts in the back, get it? Oh, that was funny. And then there was the rich asshole and the poor redneck who had the fucking strip off for free drinks, no less.
It was funny though. The guy's like, "Why are you with him?" And it's for the money. And then the assistant jumps in and she goes, "No, he could have a big dick." No, the way I'm talking,
it's for the money.
The way we're talking, that is how they talked in the show. This is not something you take your kids to see.
Well, it says they tell you right on there. This is an 18+ show.
Yep.
So adults only, please. They had some skimpy cocktail waitresses serving some mixed drinks around, and Courtney actually decided not to partake because I recall
this was a sober trip.
Well, it's not so much it was a sober trip. I think in there specifically, the drink prices were very high.
They were kind of pricey.
Well, we were sitting at a show where the waitresses were bringing you drinks.
Yeah.
You know, so I could imagine.
They gotta make their money somehow. There's no harm in that.
Right. I think we're actually the only table that didn't have drinks at it, but that's okay.
There was one guy who sat solo, though. It was like, did you really need both chairs? Yeah, he needed both chairs. He was a big boy. And the guy who took his mom.
Oh, man. Or that's what they were saying.
It was a younger gentleman with an older woman.
Is that your mom? Jeez. You're sleeping with your mom?
There was a lot of
or the
nakedness.
assistant doing the bit about the unicorn with the dick for a horn.
I hadn't laughed so hard in so long because she's sitting on this, what was it, a stool?
Something like that.
And the movements that she was doing, and if you're any sick and twisted as I am, you know what I'm talking about. It was just amazing how so much energy and flailing could come from such
and she was just supposed to introduce the next act.
And she was the act.
Let's
a lot of naked men. There was a lot.
I would say they were trying to cater to everybody, because
it was like the whole show was made for me.
A lot of naked women, a lot of naked men. Actually, my favorite part of the show was let me try to remember some of these in order. They actually alternated between the men and the women for the most part. The first one was the actual kind of trapeze act, the woman and the man who were doing the suspension acts, and I think you said that was one of your favorite parts.
That was, yes, because everything else was kind of silly and meant to be flashy and make you laugh, but that was the more serious.
That was actually more because technically Absinthe, because he was teasing Cirque du Soleil, but technically I think Absinthe is part of that.
Yeah.
And so that was the most Cirque du Soleil act of the whole thing.
Right. It was very, very nice. I really enjoyed it.
It was a romantic piece with the toned down music and the acrobatics and the slow acrobatics and so that was nice. And then I think they moved to the girl with the hula hoops next.
Yes.
Or was it right? She did all. It was the Russian.
Yeah.
Or no. It was that girl in the high heels, like the go-go dancing stuff. Remember her? I know hers wasn't very memorable, but it was the girl with the pigtails and the skates on.
Oh, okay, yeah, and she had the little thing. She was okay.
Yeah.
She was more hipstery.
Well, it struck me as hippie.
Yeah.
There was definitely like a 60s, 70s vibe going on with her.
Yeah, she was good, but there was better shows after her.
Then I think it was his bodyguards.
Yep.
The two men who they got naked pretty much, just muscular men.
And they did a lot of things that they show counterbalance. If I put my
strength stuff.
Why they're his bodyguards, yada yada.
The next one I think was the one. It was either the Russian girl next.
The Russian girl was next. Oops.
But the next guy I think was my favorite. It was the guy. I don't remember what it was called. He was doing the sexy. He's balancing. He's doing the tricks with the two sticks, the wire, and the ball.
He singled somebody out.
Right, he singled the rich asshole out. You like what you don't like? Well, I forget what the fuck it was called though, because that was what made it so fun. It was like Calvining or something.
Yeah,
he was doing sexy Calvining or whatever, and then he starts doing, you know what, you like this, and then he starts doing the extreme, and he's just so fucking. He's British, and he's
staring this guy down the whole time,
like just right in his fucking face doing these tricks, and he's just all over this guy, just saying. And all of the puns. Jesus Christ, all the puns and the being sexy with it. Oh my god. He was fun. I thought, granted, he's doing something that's not as impressive as what everyone else was doing. But god, he was funny. Yes. It's like, granted, what he was doing was probably really hard because the thing he was balancing, I think that thing's like 50 pounds.
So yeah.
So it was a hard thing, but it was just how over the top and insulting he was being, and I'm dying. For me, that was the funniest part of the show.
After that was the guy with the light post.
Yeah, the guy doing the stripper stuff on the light post.
Oh my God.
He was wearing the old, like, 20s style suit, and he starts stripping it off and doing these really strength suspension. He's got a light post, and he's holding himself up, doing all these very complicated kind of stripper moves.
Yes.
Things that would take a lot of core control.
Yes.
And of course, later the billionaire's got to come out and go, the slut's in the back. Those seats are ruined. Shit.
I think after that was the least. Hands down, I can't see anything good about it.
The Jugglers?
No,
the Jugglers were before the joke act.
Oh, okay.
So... Because he went, and I realized I signed them and they're jugglers and nobody likes jugglers.
But the Jugglers were fine. I mean, they were good.
It was a very basic act, and I kind of expected them to do more, but they just juggled, and it was like, okay. They were competent, at least.
Yes.
But then next they had a joke act.
I have nothing nice to say about that.
You laughed, though.
I did, because it was like, I didn't know what else to do.
Well, they're supposed to be an acrobatic act, and they're awful, which was the joke.
Awful is an understatement. It's kind of like, they pay you to do this,
right? But you could tell a lot of the fumbling wasn't intentional,
right? It was. I know.
Well, you have to think about how many things they did that if normal people, like when she got her foot caught in his G-string, anyone without a real sense of balance would have fucking cracked their head open right there.
True. I don't know.
Or when she does the thing where she buried his face in her crotch.
Yeah. It was just weird.
But it was a very... well, they were making fun of... We live in Reno, and that's what they're making fun of. Just right fresh out of Reno.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, right?
I think that was the last act of the show.
Well, then the chick...
Oh, the Green Fairy came back out
yeah,
to be naughty again. And so that was...
Naughty.
Naughty.
Yeah, there's a lot of naughtiness going through my head.
Yep, so that was, she comes back out, and I think they had the curtain call. And
right, but no one came out because of Rona.
Right, and so we got to say goodbye to the billionaire.
Of course.
And his assistant.
And the assistant. But yeah, that was a really good show. I do recommend it.
It makes me wonder what you would have thought of the other shows.
I am bummed. That's why I think part 2 of Vegas should happen.
Well, I almost guarantee we're going to go. So we also, on our way back, we went... Actually, I have these in the wrong order. Skipping back when we were going to the New York roller coaster, there was a Krispy Kreme in...
Oh my God.
There was a Krispy Kreme in...
We are denied here in Reno.
Yeah, there are no Krispy Kremes here. Now, actually, I did hear...
They're building one.
They're building one?
I saw it. I'm drooling now thinking about it. There's one being built. But back to the story. I am fat. I will admit to this to the day I'm dead. And it was the most delicious donuts of my life. I miss it already. Come back.
So after Absinthe, I had tried to book us into Hell's Kitchen, which turned out to be nearly impossible.
Hell's Kitchen.
So we went down, there was an alley, I think, between the Bally's and another one of the casinos, which we walked down. Mm-hmm. There was an In-N-Out and one of the Gordon Ramsay restaurants, and that was how you got to that huge Ferris wheel, which we didn't end up getting on.
No.
But we went to one of those places that has like the ice bar, and we didn't go in, but she got a drink there.
You know what? I hadn't had one of those frosty drinks.
One of those
before.
slushy kind of.
I actually liked it. It was actually really good.
And we just kind of hung out inside, saw a little more. And then I had gotten us a reservation in the Paris at the Gordon Ramsay Steakhouse as our dinner.
Oh, my God.
And I was a little thrown off when they put us on the balcony. I'd never been in a restaurant that had a balcony.
It was a nice view, though.
Yeah, we got to kind of see what everyone else was eating, and we could see the bar and stuff. That had to be a little rough for Courtney. The whole place was kind of bathed in red, and Courtney is colorblind. And red gives her a headache.
So if you can't tell from this one podcast, I am screwed. Can't eat, can't see, can't do anything.
Well, fortunately, you had we kind of sat in the right place. we were far enough away from where the primary source of the red light was, and you had your back to it.
Yes.
I would have preferred if they'd put us in a booth, but because those had white lights over them, which would have been much easier for you. But you seemed to be okay.
Oh, yeah.
I felt bad for the waiters who kept having to hump the food up and down these stairs.
I know. They got some good legs.
Tips must be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So we sit down and we look at this. It's not all of Ramsay's restaurants kind of hold to a true thing that all the menus are actually quite small.
Yes.
I think his burger joint has the biggest menu out of all of them, but the rest of them have very small menus. And I think we ended up settling on his 2 signature dishes.
No regrets.
Courtney got a beef Wellington.
Yes.
Which she seemed to enjoy immensely.
It didn't have a chance. I scarfed that. I could have probably 2 or 3 more of those.
You had another mixed drink there that seemed to be very heavy because you barely touched it.
I drank it.
Did you?
Oh,
that like blueberry lemon.
Yeah, it was a heavy drink. It was, but I'm not going to pay that kind of money and not drink it.
Yeah, that was probably the most expensive thing we did there, actually. Mm-hmm. And I got a Geordie chicken, which is probably the softest, most tender chicken I've ever eaten in my life.
Oh, that beef Wellington was so good. I was worried about not liking because I hadn't had mushrooms before, and it was really
that's got to be the fanciest food.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's some very highfalutin stuff right there. You know, because it was.
And I can't help but comment. Next time, though, I'm gonna try his version of a seafood platter because the thing it came on was amazing. It was a giant octopus.
Right. We tried the one at the Water Grill, but we were looking down at another table, and she sees this big octopus thing sitting in the middle of the table. She's like, "What the fuck is that for?" And I said, "I think it's a tray. It's a stand." And sure enough, here comes the waiter with this big old tray full of fucking seafood. And set it down, and we're like, fuck, we should have just, for the same amount of money, we should have just tried it here, you know?
But
the food probably would have been much better because there's standards there. So we get through our food, we're both feeling kind of full, but we look at the menu, and they have one signature, I think maybe, they had bread pudding, but they had the big signature dessert of a sweet toffee pudding.
And couldn't stop myself.
And we said fuck it, we got one each, and it came in 3 parts. There was the pudding itself, and British pudding is not the same as American. It's right. Like it's a sweet bread.
Yep.
And there was the sweetbread in the middle, a bar. I thought the bar of ice cream was kind of bizarre, but because it was an aesthetic thing. Right. They had it cut into a perfect little rectangle.
It was, but it was so good.
But that made it easier to cut.
Yes.
And then they had a little glass or a little tin full of the hot, sweet toffee.
I could have just drank that. Oh my god, it was so good.
So we had the hot pudding, the hot sauce, and then the cold ice cream.
It was so
good. And eating all 3 together was just magic. Yeah. It was so good. And God, I ate till I was so full I couldn't stand it.
Yeah, I ate until I couldn't. Like I would have ate the plate.
Oh, I waddled out. Getting down those stairs to back out was rough,
it was
bro.
So uneven because you're like,
man, I feel like a penguin.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Oh, so we go back out through the Paris and we watch the fountain show again until midnight when they stopped doing them. We stood out there for an hour and watched 4 of the shows.
Yep.
You know. That was when the wind started to pick up, though. It started to blow the water out.
Yeah, that
started getting cold.
It was starting to get cold.
And I think that's about when we called it a night. We went back up to our room and went to sleep. And the next day, we caught a cab back to the McCarran International Airport. You got a couple things. Have you been able to give?
Yes.
You got her. I remember that. Okay. We bought a couple things in one of the gift shops there right as we were leaving. And,
yes.
We had to pray. I guess one of the only things about Corona, that was probably the fastest. I've gone through the McCarran International Airport a couple of times. We went right through.
Yeah, there wasn't
security.
Really a hassle. But when they say take everything out of your pockets,
they're not fucking around. Well, that happened here when we left. They got.
Oh, was that before we left?
Yeah, they got up my ass because I left 2 cough drops in my pants. And when they said empty your pockets, they weren't messing around, because they stopped and gave me the whole fucking
Well, I was wondering, I
pat
was right
down and
behind him.
wanding and thing, because I hadn't taken everything out of my pockets, and now they don't trust me.
Well, it was kind of funny because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm waiting for cues from everybody.
I fucking forgot that machine was like for real X-ray. And so, yeah, they were able to see the shit in my pockets, because, yeah, they see right through you with that thing. And fuck. So I didn't fuck around. The TSA guys were way ruder in the McCarran airport, though.
Oh my god! It's like, you know what, dude? Do us the favor and kill yourself.
Because, I mean, I did the no-no at the Tahoe International Airport here, the Reno Tahoe Airport here, and yeah, they did the thing, but they were still very polite to me while patting me down and wanding me and stuff, because I fucked up.
I'm really glad you didn't do it there, because you probably would have gotten you've been randomly chosen.
And I'd have gotten my ass in trouble for making a joke I shouldn't.
I would have just been sitting there going like, "Don't make me get on the plane."
I think the plane trip went a little better on the way back, because I got us gum this time.
Yeah.
And I think that did make things a little easier for both of us, being able to chew to clear our ears. Yes. We also didn't have that big pressure change during the landing either.
Right.
And you definitely handled the plane. You actually took the seat next to the window on the
I did.
I
decided not to be a baby.
So that
because the first plane ride to Vegas, I'll admit, I was not okay. Not okay. I wanted off.
But you were good on the trip.
Oh, and before we get too far from this, back to the very beginning. We were sitting there waiting to get on the plane going to Vegas, and this woman, a decently looking woman,
she was pretty,
was walking towards where you get on the plane, and this guy was getting off. If he would have turned his head for a double look any harder, he would have snapped his own neck.
Oh my god, yeah. This woman walked by him, and he took a double take, and I mean, he damn near owled his neck by turning it all the way around. He looks so hard. And me and Courtney both saw this, and goddamn near fell down laughing at how much this guy had craned to look at this girl's butt.
It was just one of those things where we both looked at each other and went...
What was funny is I kind of saw it coming, because I was looking at her too. She was very pretty.
She was, yes.
But, I mean, that's when I noticed the guy not fucking his tongue falling out of his goddamn mouth, not being able to not look as hard as he could. He had stared at her any harder, she'd have caught fire. Shit.
That was great. Yes. That was funny.
Oh, boy.
Just a few bloopers. There was every time we got dressed up, we would take photos of what we look like, because, very first vacation, I wanted them. Well, there was a point where Blake had I
had my mask hanging off my ear.
And I don't know why I thought this was so funny, but it fell to the floor. This blip. And what did you say?
I'm trying to hold up the phone. We're standing in front of they had a big mirror next to the door, and I'm trying to get the camera to get a photo of us, and it falls off my ear and just kind of flops onto the floor. It was a dead quiet, so you just hear flop. And I went, well, that happened. And for whatever reason, Courtney couldn't handle that. And I must have gotten like 14 pictures of you with your head buried in my shoulder because you were laughing so hard.
I don't know why I thought that was so funny. Oh my god.
I think it was just the flop. Well, that happened, and you just...
Another one, on our way to the Gordon Ramsay Steakhouse, I got smacked in the butt by two stripper police people that were trying to take photos with them for tips. I tried to get away.
Well, we walked between these two women. They're performers, and they walk up and down the strip, being dirty and trying to get photos. God, I realized it was just us walking right at them. We made eye contact slightly, and I said, okay, so one of us is probably going to get hassled.
Yep.
And so me and Courtney took very different approaches. I walked right between them.
I
almost dared one of them to swat me with that little whip they have, and Courtney kind of tried to dodge them, and that made her a target because they didn't.
Only thing I got to hear is like, "Oh, look at this pretty one in the green dress,"
and swat right on the butt.
I didn't know what to do.
I actually was kind of surprised you didn't, because I was 50-50 in my head about what you were gonna do if she spanked you. I didn't know if you were gonna fucking turn around and go for her or what.
If I wasn't in a dress, it would have bbeen all over but the crime. But I was in a dress and in heels, and no.
You didn't seem all that mad. You seemed kind of
because that was what to do.
Well, that was more what I meant. Is I didn't know which way you were gonna go. Whether you were gonna be more embarrassed or be angry.
I got embarrassed.
And you got more embarrassed, which probably allowed these women to walk away with their fucking eyebrows still attached.
Oh my god. I was like, I walk in, I'm like, for like an hour, I'm like, I got hit in the butt.
Yeah, and you did nothing.
I'm sorry.
But the cocktail waitresses feel no sympathy for you.
Shush.
So another blooper. The second time only, Courtney was away from me for any length of time because you went down to have another smoke, I think.
No, you had gone ahead of me.
No, I was asleep. You got up first on the fourth day, and you went downstairs to have a cigarette, and I was still asleep because I woke up and realized you weren't there.
No, honey. You're talking about the when the slot manager waved that guy off, right?
That was what I was talking about. Yeah, I was still in bed.
No. We had just gotten done. We had just gotten back from because I was wearing the green dress. That's the only time I wore that dress.
Where did I walk off to? Then? I went to the bathroom.
Yeah, because they made us because we went to do something and it was just that far enough from our room for you needed to go to the bathroom.
Pretty bad. Right. So you sat down to have a.
I sat on some slop seats. I had a cigarette while I was waiting for him. Well, I wasn't paying attention. I was actually checking out the machine in front of me to see if I was even interested in it. And the slot manager, and I wish I would have gotten this gentleman's name because he was on it. And he comes right up to me and goes, "Hey, ma'am, can I help you with anything?" I go, "No, I'm just checking out the machine." Well, next thing I know, I see him waving somebody off with his other hand. Well, I turned around because I caught that, and it was a homeless person coming up right behind me. I don't know what this homeless guy wanted or anything like that. I'm assuming just the panhandle. But as soon as he waved him up, the guy turned to walk away. He said goodnight, and he started going after the homeless dude. I was just like, wow, I really need to stop being left alone. I don't like this.
He very well might have still approached both of us, though.
Yeah, so...
But the slot... I have to wonder whether the slot manager saw this coming or whether surveillance had called him and said, "Hey... you have a problem in your area you may want to consider."
But I wish I would have gotten that slot manager's name because it was really nice. He
doesn't want them bothering. Again, it's one of the nicest hotels on the whole strip.
Right.
They don't want
that.
They don't want people coming in and hassling their patrons, especially because you're sitting there possibly thinking about gambling.
Right.
It is not in his best interest to have someone bothering you.
Right. Even the security officers who have to sit there and make sure you have a key to go up into the hotel. Very nice. I didn't really have nothing bad to say.
About their security team?
Yeah.
Jealous?
No.
No. I mean jealous that they have that kind of security team.
Maybe. That's part 2 of the podcast. We'll get into that later. Yes, but they were very professional, very nice.
Though in their case, do you notice a lot of them kind of functioned almost as point where to go, like the ones that were all around that atrium.
Yeah.
They're essentially there to answer questions.
Yep, they're the most expensive bathroom pointers money can buy. And I will stand to that to this day, being I used to be one of them.
Because, they weren't even patrolling. They were mostly just standing.
Yes.
Granted, that means, given how a lot of them were standing, that means there was not one of them more than, I want to say, 40 feet from any given place where trouble could have arisen.
Yeah, if you started it was kind of nice. Like, you could see the security officers, but they weren't there at the same time. You didn't get the sense of, oh my god, why do they have so much security here? Is there a problem?
There was a ton of security, because I was paying attention to that, because I am like that. And I noted, we walked by a security officer about every 20 to 40 steps. Someone just standing there with their arms crossed, just not really doing much, just holding up a wall or whatever, but they were everywhere.
I kind of turned on blinders when I was inside of a casino because it's like I've seen it, I've done it, and it's just there's nothing appealing to it to me.
You would have never been able to enjoy yourself if you had been like that, but I'm always kind of trying to be cognizantly aware of where trouble might crop up.
Right.
But with that much security around, I don't think the whole time we walked through our own casino, I don't think we saw, or any of them, now that I think about it. Did you catch one fight or anything in the casino or one incident of security really having to get involved with anyone?
No,
Except for the one you started?
No. Remember when we were going into the Gordon Ramsay's steakhouse, there was the one EMT incident that it was right behind the slot machines we were sitting at. When we were sitting next to the pit.
Right, because we're waiting.
Right, there was that one where the guy was asked to leave because he was trespassing.
Yeah, actually, I do remember that because the EMT was the one who threw him out, which I thought was so bizarre.
He was claiming he was ill.
Oh.
And that's normal. I'm sick. Get out.
The EMT escorted his ass out.
Yep.
Because I do remember that because I was asking why his cuffs were...
on the square of his back.
Well, he had multiple different color cuffs.
Oh, right.
I didn't understand that.
They do mean... And for every casino, it does mean something different.
Right, and I didn't even understand that at all. I said he has like 4 pairs of cuffs, and they're all different. They're all these goofy colors.
And depending on the place, each cuff, each color does mean something different.
Right, so you and I sat there, because we had a lot of time to kill.
Yeah.
We actually I expected the absinthe show to be a bit longer.
Right.
So we had arrived for our reservation way too soon.
Like an hour?
Something like that. We had to kill a lot of time, so we sat there near the craps tables, just shooting the shit about various casino things.
Right.
Just watching everyone else gamble while you and I just kind of hung out, because... We also come from a casino town, so we're not into losing money that way.
Right. We've done enough.
To this point in my life, I'm still in the green. I have one more money gambling than I have lost.
There you go.
But that really does kind of sum up that sums up a lot of our trip, and it'll be interesting when we have a round 2 of this, because it's going to be a lot more fucking crowded.
Right.
Because that was again, I've been to Vegas a few times, and that was pretty quiet, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, we were in a few crowds a handful of times, but that was
right.
Not much of a thing. But there's so many things I'd like to go back there and do. Plus we live so close, it's a very cheap trip.
Yes, it is.
Because we went we did end up spending about $2,500, but we were kind of going out of our way at that point.
Yeah.
To spend a bit of money, because I think it was, it's hell a lie. It was a grand for the plane tickets plus the hotel room. Yep. And I just like to tell people, if you get a room with a food credit, it is a little harder to spend than you think.
Yeah.
Because I think we only actually officially used it maybe once.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, be careful with that, because I'm kind of glad I didn't get the $100 food credit, because that would have annoyed the fuck out of me more. Because that was a big part of the restaurant incident on Tuesday, is I was trying to find somewhere that would take our fucking comp. And that's why I was starting to get really aggravated.
Right.
Because there was one goddamn restaurant I was trying to get us into, the whole time we were there, and I never was able to get us in there. Because it was never convenient, or it was not open, or because all the restaurants had really goofy hours. Mm-hmm. We fucking show up at a couple of these places that closed on Tuesdays. Fuck!
Yeah, note to self, we're going to plan a little bit closer to the weekend.
Yeah, there was a few of those incidences where it's like, oh my fucking god, I'm gonna fucking burn it down, bruh. Getting fucking mad. But that's...
That was our trip.
That was Courtney's first real vacation she's ever taken. May it be the first of many.
For real.
I think now that you've got a taste.
Yeah.
For the traveling life. Hopefully it means you'll Because you weren't super excited. Like, you were... I shouldn't say you weren't excited to go. But you never really shown any real interest in traveling before I kind of forced the issue.
I just didn't have appreciation for it, I've never really...
You don't even like taking time off work.
I'm a workaholic.
That's one word for it. But I hope now you have something in appreciation for why taking time off is a good thing.
Yes.
So, good. Oi!
God damn it. Dumb. It's fucking dumb.
It's fucking dumb. And yet you are giggling away. Oh! God, I love that you'll laugh at anything. Thank you for listening to the Bits and Pieces. 5, 6, 7, 8. Once again, thank you for listening to our podcast. For those of you who've made it to the end, I hope you will like, share, and subscribe. And I will catch those of you in the next one.